I swear I'm trying to not be annoyed, but it's just kind of annoying. All these people who keep saying things I've been saying for a couple of years and they act like they just thought of it. It's like, I just realized this. It's like, well, someone's been out here saying it for a while. And one of the ones I just saw where I was like, okay, I can't keep going. I just can't keep going. This is irritating. Was this, and there's so freaking many of these psychic healer medium people. Like, it's just like so many videos of like, they'll start talking about something interesting, be like talking about something interesting, and they'll go, oh, and by the way, in case you don't know me, I'm Kelly. I'm a psychic medium healer, and I'm a shaman and a this long thing. And if you need help with your spiritual healing, then you need to come to me. One thing too I saw is more than one of saying it's about to the great divide is about to show in the spiritual community who is truly in their spirit and who is just out there saying a bunch of words, because it's so clear. It's becoming so clear to so many people. It isn't just a spiritual journey of running out and saying, hey, who holds the most crystals, who meditates the most hours, who walks the most in nature. No, it's actually coming in touch with self and doing your healing and trying to understand life in a whole new perspective, a whole new level of life. And so, it's this, walking into yourself. It's not just about, spiritual stuff, and that is how it's being marketed, but your spirit is who you're connecting with, so it's an important role. But it's like that they're just, they just go part way. They don't go all the way. And so this person was saying, you're about to see a whole bunch of spiritual leaders that are not healed, that it's going to become real clear real quick. And so I mean, I knew that. I know that that's going to be, especially with spiritual and religious people who think they're all on it, they're on top of it. They're going to be, well, if you think you're all on it and on top of it in an upside down world, then what are you really holding on? What is the thing that you are, pushing forward? What are you holding on to? Like this thing that I had just seen where I was like, okay, this is just like, this is, one of the spiritual shaman, guide, creator, whatever, person thing. And so she was doing a session with somebody who was just kept hitting a wall. They're just trying to be successful, and they just keep hitting a wall, and don't understand what's going on. So they're going to go ahead and do this session with the psychic medium so they can figure it out. And the psychic medium is just going to hypnotize her to talk to her higher self for her. You see what I'm saying here? Like, okay, you may need to do that once or twice. Once you hear the voice, you should be able to communicate yourself. You don't need to go to somebody and have them hypnotize you to start communicating with your higher self. It may work in the beginning to help you quiet your mind so that you can start realizing, oh, wait, there's a voice over there. Wait, oh, that's someone talking over here. Okay, wait. Okay, that's a different voice. You may start being able to recognize that. I did just see somebody who was saying something about, in your head when you start really seeing about all the different communication going on. It's like, yeah, see, these are the things I keep saying, and people keep coming in and saying this stuff like they just realize that they're the founder, and that's where it just gets like, okay, Kelly, relax your ego, just calm down. Like, it doesn't fucking matter, but it feels like it does. It feels like I'm being, in the shadows or somewhere. I am, I'm in the shadows. I got up to. It was whack. One notification of a new follower, 6 comments, and 5 likes or something like that. I mean, it's so fucking absurd. And then, I go on and see these people. But so this lady said, so she went in to talk to this lady's higher self, And the girl, when she's doing the video, she's like, okay, now I want you to think about this, because this is going to blow your mind. This is really going to blow your mind, because this is like, I had been really into law of attraction and all this stuff, right? But this is going to blow your mind. And so think about this. So be prepared. And when I say this thing, tell me what pops into your head first thing. And that will tell you everything. And so she was saying that when she was talking to the higher self, that she was saying, well, she keeps hitting into this glass or the ceiling and she can't get over it, and she's doing all this stuff. And I guess they were telling her some things to do. But then they said, one of the questions, they said, what do you think abundance is? And that was the question. You're supposed to just let that pop into your head, and you answer, whatever pops into your head is what you believe abundance is. What do you believe abundance is? Whatever pops in your head is what you believe abundance is. For me, what popped into my head when she just said it was the binaural beats that come across that says abundance real big, and it's all gold. And so that's what popped into my head. But she said, so if money pops into your head, that's the problem, and that it isn't about money. Abundance comes in all things. This is what I kept trying to say. I've been saying this the whole time. Like, and you can't go past where you're supposed to go. Like, that is you're going to sit there like a mouse and keep clawing at the wall. I'll get in there somehow. I'll do it. Like a psychopath. Get in there. And you're supposed to live under the house. That's where you're going to live. So are you going to be mindless and just keep trying to get something that's not yours? And that is what all these people keep doing about this, the secret, like, oh, abundance, like I can manifest money. It's not about money. What do you think? Like, the universe is all on the fucking dollar? Like, what are you talking about? Abundance is everything you need to have a safe, nurtured life. Like, it's multiple different things. Like, so if you're sitting there saying, I want abundance, like I said, when people are manifesting and they're like, oh, I'm going to manifest myself a little Rolls Royce over there. It's like, no, you need to be manifesting, like you envision the beautiful house you want to live in. You keep envisioning where it is that you want to, how you want to live, where you want to be and stuff like that. Then, a house will come. It may not be the exact house. Just like when they got me this one, I was looking in Spokane down by the river in this little artsy, really exclusive, like little tiny spot. It's in downtown, and it's down below by the river, and it's this really cool little spot, and it was called Peaceful Valley. And there was this little artist house down there, and it had a little second house out back for the little studio. And oh my God, I would just look at that and I would just be like, oh, that is my place. Like, that's exactly like what I want. Then when I went to go stay at my daughter's, and I was sitting there, and I was staying in her basement because that house we had rented, they had sold it out from under us. And it was like, I was in flux. Like, I was like, didn't know where I was going to land. I was in the cup being shook. It's like, where am I going? And so when I was in her basement there for a couple months, it was, there was a stone fireplace down there and wood walls. And so I kept being, oh my God, I love this wood walls and this stone fireplace thing. I really want this kind of look in my house. And so then, I end up way across the state in Peaceful Valley in a little cabin with a little, that I'm turning into another little building that I'm turning into a guest house. When I very first started, it was my little artist room that I had set up out there, and wood walls, but my hearth isn't stone, it's brick. But it was like all these things. That's what I'm saying. You envision what you want. It doesn't mean like, oh, well, it has to be in a mansion. It has to be, I have to be rich. I have to be driving this. No, you just keep the things that you desire. you focus on what you desire, not the things that you're scared of, not the things you hate, not the things you don't want, not the things you fear, all of that. You don't focus on that. Like, that's the creation of the demon. Oh my God, I'm so scared. I'm so scared. It's going to get me. It's going to get me. I can see him. I can see him. He's right over there. You know, you're making that in your mind. You're giving this thing. It's so crazy how you're literally creating that thing that you fear. And so it's the same thing on the opposite side. So when you want to have success, whatever success is that you've come in, it doesn't mean that you have to say, well, success means I have to have $2.3 billion in the bank. It means I have to have 3 cars. I have to have a 10-bedroom house like that. That's your concept. That then is what you've decided that what success is. And that is the universe will show you. You know, you've got lessons there. You know, you're hung up on something in this material world, thinking that that makes you better. It doesn't make you better. It means you're chasing something around that you can never really keep. And so you have these people who are trying to manifest things that are not of it's like manifestation is, like I kept trying to say for so long, it's not just seeing something and wanting it and getting it. Like it's different. It's a process. It is, you know, for this woman, because this girl who did the reading, she was just like so shocked, like, oh my gosh, you know, it isn't about money. They said we shouldn't be trying to just get money. We're supposed to be trying to, you know, like abundance is a whole bunch of things. It's like having a safe place to live. It's having a nice garden just full of, like, abundance is a whole bunch of things. That is, you know, you're missing the point of what the universe is giving you if you are setting that as no, that's not good. No, once I get that Mercedes up there, once I have that big old mansion, then I'm going to be successful. Then they've given me what I've asked for. Then they've given me what I think I'm here for. It's like, but you know, are you chasing your tail? Is that what you're really here for? Because it isn't like you saw somebody else had it, and so you're like, I want what they have, so I'm going for it. This is how I'm going to get it. Or did the universe come in and say, hey, this is what you're here for. This is what we want you to do. We want you to go over there. We want you to start doing this. You're going to do some things that make you uncomfortable, because we got to see how comfortable are you with yourself. Do you love yourself? Can you go out there and stand naked in front of everybody and not be shy and embarrassed? You know, that is the thing. That is putting yourself out there. You know, that is why I'm not going to sit there and whine and cry if I have fucking charcoal rubbed across my face. Spinach in my tooth while I'm talking. I have a booger hanging out my nose. It's like, that stuff doesn't fucking matter, you know? And if anybody thinks it does, that's their own shallow aspect of self that they need to work on. And so, but this, yeah, it's so funny because, you know, like this will just totally pick up steam. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm sitting there saying it for fucking a year. I don't even know when I started saying this stuff, because I've always been a manifester, and I understand about, like, you can't manifest something that's not yours. I completely understand that it is, you're here to play a role. You're here to experience what you come to experience. Somebody who is poor is not doing it wrong. They are doing what they are here to do. They are doing their experience. They're learning from their lessons. That doesn't mean they're not successful. It doesn't mean that they are doing something wrong. They're not manifesting right or whatever. If they can go into their experience and appreciate their experience and appreciate their lessons. But yeah, you can manifest stuff. You can be like, yeah, well, I really, you know, like, to me, manifesting, like, just go big on it. Like, you are, you don't have a car, you have a place to live, and but you don't have a car, and you've recognized you really need a car, so you want to manifest a car. So you, the way that I would do it, I would start I would start looking at the cars I like. Like I would start noticing, oh, I love that car. Oh God, that car is so beautiful. Oh, that way that car, like like for me, like a Jeep. Like I love Jeeps, and so start picturing yourself like out driving in the Jeep. Like I've had a Jeep a couple of different times. So, you know, I would know the experience. I would know, and I could go and put myself there. People don't realize how much time they really do spend time traveling. Like they don't realize, like once you have left the room and gone somewhere else, you're time traveling. You've left this space. You're somewhere else. You're re-experiencing or realigning, you're re-envisioning, you're re-experiencing something, you're going back over it, you know, you're going back in time, you're going back to that space to re-understand it, you're traveling in time. And you know, there's going to be other aspects to time travel to where we can go into an experience, like we can be in this experience and deal with other people. It'll be the same thing is when you could go in and time travel and go in and experience with people and be able to talk about the experience. Like we would be able to, I think that is part of this development that we are in the process of doing, so that we could, just as we are all in this experience together and can talk amongst ourselves, you know, talk to others, that we can do that when we go into a time travel. Like if we would be able to go into a space and time with another being. But some of the things, like if you're going into your own personal life, I don't think you can just take someone back there with you. Like I don't know. I mean, there's so much for us to learn and see. Like I'll tell you that healing thing has been so working. I can't even believe it. Because whatever was going on with my shoulder, it was just, I swear it started when I was crocheting all those, probably last year when it started with the blankets and I was getting all the hats and scarves. I was getting tendinitis, my shoulders were hurting and stuff, and then I would stop. But then I've always got to be doing something. I like to do things. I'm not somebody who doesn't, you know, to me, there's so much to do in the world. There's so much to do. And so I don't know what it was. I know it has been super, so painful sleeping on the couch. And so then I kept thinking, well, I must have got myself, like, you know, the crack of the couch where it goes like that. I thought, well, I must have got like shoved down in there with my shoulder, and I just really hurting, you know, and it just was hurting like for the past few nights. Last night it wasn't the same thing, but the last few nights before that, it was waking me up. It hurt so bad I couldn't get comfortable. Didn't matter if I was on that side, it was so painful. If I turned to the other side, the pain just would radiate down. I just could not get comfortable. I was, and I think I was awake at like 12:30, and I was looking, I think I was just like, fuck this. So I went and looked on TikTok, and this woman popped up and she was talking about the healing and what she does as a healer and how she heals. And so she was the one who explained it about, you know, imagine yourself as the body, like on those things that they show on these binaural beats. They do it all the time for the healing ones. They'll show like a body with all, but I had it all the time in nursing books and stuff, like the bones and the muscles and the fascia and the nerves and everything, you know, it just builds up to become you without your skin on. So you kind of look at yourself with no skin on. And it's so crazy too, because like when I went to go envision the area, it was like I went to go look at it, but then all of a sudden it was like laser focused, and I was like almost like I zoomed it down into the space in my shoulder. And right when I started working on it, and I started calling, because she said she calls in all these different energies to come in and do work on it. And I have seen other people now trying to explain about the free energy and the energy that's around us and what attaches to us. So the same thing of what I've been saying, you know, other people are getting that now and trying to explain it. So it's just so nuts, all these different things I've been trying to explain, and all these different people are saying these things. But, you know, that just shows it's going to just keep going and going, more and more with the awakening, more and more people understanding this stuff and realizing. But let me think where I was, what I was saying. But okay, so if I go back to manifestation. So if I go back to the manifestation of like the Jeep thing. So if I were to see myself, so I would see myself going in, I would be excited. Keep looking at the things. Don't look at them with envy. Don't look at them like, oh, I'll never get that. I can't ever have what I want. You know, that attitude is going to keep you in the timeline where you have to learn your value. And I'm sure there's multiple timelines of different lessons. But to me, what I have seen is you have a timeline where you're there to learn your value, and then you have a timeline when you know your value. Those two are very distinct to me. And so if you are going in and, you know, just, you know, you're cock blocking your own fucking manifestation, you keep doing that kind of stuff like, nah, I could never have that, what I want. Every time I want something, I never get what I want. Oh, yeah, they get what I want. Oh, look at that beauty. Oh, yeah, that one's nice. Yeah, of course I don't get what I want. You know, those are the things. You got to catch yourself. You got to go in and actually listen to yourself thinking, processing, catch yourself and go, hey, dude, what are you saying that for? Don't be telling me that shit. And start talking like it's different people. And like she said, when she went and she'll go in and she'll start healing, she'll pull in all that energy. And so when I did that, I was feeling the craziest stuff inside my body. It was the weirdest thing. And I was like, oh my God, this is fucking working. And so I kept doing it and I kept falling asleep. Like going in, meditating is super hard for me because I'll fall asleep. I just got to sit up and just communicate with them and talk to them. But, when I try and go into that space of like relaxing my mind with my eyes closed and going in there, I just leave my body every time. And it's easy for me just to check out, go somewhere else. And so it took me a couple of times. Like I'd wake up and do it again. And then there became, I think like the third time, I was like, okay, it's feeling really pretty good. So let's just see how it feels in the morning. I'm just going to go sleep. And so I went to sleep. I got up and it was like feeling pretty good. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. I was sending just that horrible aching. And so, and that's what I know Stella has too. And that's what I know. It's some sort of inflammation. It's attack on our lymph. It's attack on our, there's some kind of thing that causes this with these poisons. And there's so many more people now. Like when I was sitting there saying about, you know, thunder, snow, like this new phenomena that we have thunder, snow. And then you have people come in, oh, we've always had thunder, snow. Like, what are you talking about? Thunder, snow's a normal thing. Now you got all these people with the blizzards and the thunder snows and all this stuff going on TikTok. This is so weird. I've lived here forever. I've never seen thunder snow. I've never seen thunder blizzards. It's like, yeah, I know. It's weird, isn't it? And all of the poisons, it's just like, man, I just knew all of this stuff that they were doing to us. Now they're just, it's everywhere. And when I have gone out and walked, so I've seen all these people talking about the smell outside. It smells like chlorine and stuff. And so I had noticed a couple weeks ago when I was going out, so I don't know how long it's been because I try and stay in a lot, is when I was going out and walking Stella, I was like, fuck, it smells like chlorine out here. And this was before if it happened, I think it happened. I was smelling the chlorine. I swear to God, it was days before the accident. I don't know. I'd have to go back and check the thing and see. But sometimes I don't even mention it. Like, or I'll mention it on one, and or I'll mention it to a person, and I can't remember if I videoed about it. But I was outside and I was walking, and I was like, God, it smells like a pool out here. Then my nose started burning, like when you go underwater as a kid, you know, and you jump in and all that water would go up in your nose and it would burn. So my nose started burning. I was like, oh my God, this is just like being in a swimming pool. This is so weird. Where is this smell coming from? And I'm pretty sure I mentioned it because I remember saying something about it, how I thought it was so weird to smell chlorine. There's definitely not pools here. And so then once this the derailments all started happening, and people were talking about going outside and smelling chlorine, and I've seen a whole bunch of people talking about it now. So, and I'm pretty far from Ohio, and I was supposedly not even in the wind current zone. So, you know, but like I've said all along, they're spraying us directly. And I just saw footage of, this was probably in China or something, but they were sending their little, because they're using those little dog robots, and they are using them to police people and everything, but they had one, the footage I saw was it just going and walking through a field spraying it with poison. Well, I mean, what else is it going to be spraying it with? Like, it's not spraying it with fucking sunshine. So, anyways, the whatever, all of this stuff. So if they're, you know, spraying the food over there and over here, I mean, I've seen, because now it has come out, it is not planes up there. It is drones. They just go back and they recharge like a Roomba. So that's in the places where it's got all those weird kind of like patterns and shit up in the sky. It's like some sort of weird Roomba. There's Roomba in the sky putting all this stuff out there. And so, you know, I mean, so then they go up, blow it all up there, and then they go back and recharge and refill, and then just keep doing it and doing it. And that is just like when that movie that I saw from the 70s with Jacqueline Bisset. I'm pretty sure it was Jacqueline Bisset, but I can't remember what movie. But it was months and months ago, and it was that her husband was that really rich guy, and I think she was having an affair, and I don't know, there's a whole thing about him getting killed or being killed, but I don't think she wanted to kill him, but the other guy, I don't remember the whole thing. But her husband was a total dick, and, you know, greedy, just out for money. But he was talking about that, and this was in the 60s or 70s. This was supposed to be set, I think. But maybe it was supposed to be set in the 70s. Because when was Charlie's Angels? So it would have been around then, when she would have been in this movie. Because it was like this certain period of time where she was popular. But so, but in the movie it said that the guy, he wanted to get involved with the labs and stuff like that, because that's where all the money was. And that over where there wasn't so many restrictions, they were just spraying stuff right out of the satellites on people. And he wanted to get in on that. So they were saying right then, and I was talking about, they're spraying it from other things, you know, just they're just spraying right out in the sky. And then I swear to God, it wouldn't surprise me if they just have sprayers out there to spray us. Like, I mean, this world is so fucking weird, man. But anyways, I'll go back to manifesting. So first, you just keep seeing yourself and getting excited, and you got to keep knowing you deserve. You can have the things that you want, but it is like you got to be thinking about what it is you want and why it is you want it. Like if you're here to experience, you know, being destitute, and say you had multiple lives. This is the thing. Whatever you're experiencing the opposite of what you've already experienced. So if you think, you know, whatever it is, you know, whatever you're angry about or upset about, you already experienced the other part. Now you're experiencing this part. And so, you know, you were going and you had lots of money. You had everything you could possibly want in the past couple lives. You know, and maybe one of them, you were married to somebody who was rich and you got everything you wanted through them. And then you went through the experience of, you know, you didn't really love them, you didn't really fit in with their family, whatever, but you were going to set that aside so you could have what you thought you needed. So you go through the whole life experience to understand where you were coming from. what you were willing to risk, and see why even just that one life isn't going to just teach that lesson, because you throw the dice and you rotate the roles and it's a whole new situation. That's why we're constantly doing it. We're constantly rotating roles. We're switching things up all the time to see what happens next, see what happens then. Well, I bet I could do it. I bet I could do it. And so the people come in, and so then they go through the experience of, having everything, and maybe they screwed people over. Maybe they screwed people over in business. Like, you go in and see what it was that pushed somebody into screwing somebody over. Like, where were they in their life? What were they experiencing? So that what seemed like a good idea for what they did. And so you go in and you experience all that. So then you come in to have another life where you play the part of not having anything and being the one who is screwed over. So you see, so it's not just the instance, the experience. It's all the experiences together is where you learn from. That's why you don't get hung up. You can't even just get all hung up on, being dissatisfied with the character you're playing at this time, because this character you're playing has a significant impact in your whole lineage of self-information, your role, your world, your experience, the experiencer, the parts you're playing. So there's no one part that should be a disappointment, because all parts go together to give you the whole. And so that you get the full impact, the full view of the whole thing. Just like to one of my they're all really beautiful. I'm not saying anybody's more beautiful than the other, but there's one who is very focused on that part, that aspect. And when I went and did her past life reading, I couldn't believe it was like 3 or 4 lives playing that same kind of beautiful, chasing, what can I get kind of thing. And but no matter what, no matter if you come in and you've played like all these different things, and you've played the beautiful girl over and over and over, there's something you're learning from it. There's something, that you're trying to really understand and to comprehend, And, maybe in a world of all beautiful people, everybody would be happy. I don't think so, because it has to do with comparison. It's the comparison that makes you unhappy. You would never even know what you look like if you weren't comparing yourself to other people. What's also very strange is what I really come to understand, especially with having these fucking boobs that don't fit my body. And every time when I look at them, it's like, where did even when I think about this doctor and all his staff, because that's what he told me, that they would sit me up every time they put him in, and they would look, and they would decide it all together, men and women together, decided what fit my body. It's like, well, y'all just, I don't know about this. And so then, but what I've been thinking a lot about it with this filters. Like, I don't know if every fucking person was using a filter. Like, I don't understand, like, how many fucking videos now. I don't know about this filter. This filter is like, I don't know. This filter is so like, I don't know. I'm just a little too beautiful, but it's not real. It's like, there's so many of these videos. Like, is this like, did y'all just now realize that the filters are fucking with your face? They're changing the shape of your nose. They're changing the shape of your mouth and your chin and all this. Y'all just now figured it out. Apparently the filters have gone over the top at this point, I guess. I guess some of them, they would before just put some makeup on your face, but now they're reshaping your nose, your chin, your lips, your eyes, all sorts of stuff. So, but there's so many videos of the girls all doing that. It's the strangest thing. But anyways, that's the purge out of the fucking filter. Like, you got to learn to love yourself, putting on this other part of your face. But what it really got me thinking about was, like, how many girls go get somebody else's nose put on their face, or how many girls go get, I've gone and gotten my lips injected before, and but the so many different kind of fillers and distortions being done to people's faces to try and look like someone else's face, right away you're taking away from your own face, because it's your face, it's your stuff all fits together. And I used to be, when I was younger, and I would always be like, oh my God, my eyebrows are so ridiculous, they're so pointed. It bothered the shit out of me. I was like, what in the hell with these eyebrows? Why do they just go so crazy pointed out like that? And how with these giant cheekbones? Why they protrude out of my face like nobody else's? Why is my nose like a fucking pointed witch nose with flared nostrils? Why isn't my mouth bigger and more luscious? You know, like I would sit there and just tear my face apart. Oh my God. I was so mean to myself. And, really thought like, well, if I had that girl's eyebrows, my face would look so much better. If I had that girl's eyebrows, if I had her nose, I swear my nose would be so much better if I just had her nose on my face. And so recently is what I started realizing is that it is our features fit together to create our face. It isn't, when we start, doing this fucking Mr. Potato Head to our face, it starts making people's faces look odd. Like you're putting on a mouth that doesn't match you. You're putting on a nose that doesn't go with the rest of it. Yeah, you may like that girl's nose, but it doesn't quite fit your face. It's like when we really start realizing our face is put together the way it's supposed to be put together. We got to quit looking around and thinking like, oh, her face is better. Oh, she's got a better one. Oh, I like hers better. We've all done that. We've all felt, still to this day, people just feel shame of who they are, shame of how they feel, shame of how they look, shame, everything. People are just, there's so many more people on this planet that hate themselves than love themselves. Just wrap your head around that, and it's acceptable to hate yourself in this world. Just, yeah. That's acceptable dinner talk. You could just sit there at a fucking dinner party and just talk about how much you hate yourself, and you'd have a fucking whole train probably jump in on board. Well, I hate myself more than you hate yourself. Well, I've had way worse. I've never had a good day in my life. It just goes into everybody's fucking miserable together. And that's the beautiful thing when you really do start your path to enlightenment, your path to self, your path to joy, your path away from self-loathing. you go like, okay, enough of that. I'm done hating myself in this life. Now I'm ready to let's experience something different. What is the possibilities here? What is there left to experience? And this leveling up, I'm super excited about, what is to come and coming into alignment. And, because I've fucking been doing the work. I've been doing it. I've been talking about it, trying to help others and teach others how to do it. And I'm sure the hell not out there trying to, jack myself up by calling myself, some sort of title or label to get people to rely on me. It's like, no, I can talk about my experience. I can share my experiences, and hopefully that you can go in and you can hear something that you can recognize or witness in yourself of something that you can work on. Because that's how I think the universe works. It brings you to people who can, move you in the direction you want when you want to move. And that is like the people who are following me. There's a reason, geez. It is crazy. Like the numbers. When you think about, I think this is going to be really exciting. It may not be as exciting to any of you guys, but it's going to be exciting to me to watch all of a sudden when those numbers start flipping and seeing how fast it starts going the other direction, seeing when there's more people who are trying to understand and really going out, because this is all about healing yourself. Everything that is happening here is to promote healing, to get you to face yourself. And so that is where it's going to be. All of a sudden, all these people are going to be looking for that. And there's going to be tons of people who are looking for people to give them some sort of direction, not to go out and life coach them, or, you know, it's like the information is out there, but it's the seeker must find their information. Like, you have to go out in search of what's your truth. Who are you? What is your truth? Where are you going? Where are you headed? What are you doing here? What is your purpose? You know, and it's, there's the whole thing is that there's so much to learn, because there's been such a distortion, and it has created so much deceit. I don't know, like deceit atmosphere is coming into my head so strong, but it is, you know, it has been a very deceitful environment. You know, it's been tricking us and lying to us, and so it is a huge thing to do all this growth. And it can sound like, oh my God, you know, I mean, to a lot of people, even, they could be like, I'm old, I'm just, you know, I'm tired, I'm old, I don't care about all healing and worrying about what happened back in the, you know, when I was a kid. I don't care about that anymore. I just ready to go out of here. I'm just so tired. And there's going to be a lot of that, you know. And then that will be in their life review, that they can go look back, or they can be a catalyst, so that the person who is witnessing them is like, oh man, I don't want to have that attitude. I want to work on me as much as I can. But remember, there is no time that's running out. Time is shifting. We're losing out on time. Time is going away from this thing. So it's time is leaving us. We're not leaving. We're not running out of time. Is one time is opening the door for us. It is like opening up time, so that we have more control over our time. And so you, I mean, you could have centuries left to heal if that's what you want to do. There is no end until you want there to be an end. It is, so, you know, but there's a lot of people, you know, and if they don't understand that, then they will after their life review, or they understand it, but they're playing a part of not understanding. So, you know, we don't really know until we get to the other side, and we're all going over it together and talking about it together. And I think that there's a lot, when you get to the other side, you let go. You let go, like you're ready for the next part. You see, what did I do there? What did I learn? How did I affect people? What you know, who and what am I? And then, you know, once you see, you're ready to, you know, do the next thing. You're ready to try and see, you know, what in the next level, what would be the next thing to do, or whatever. I think that there's different groups too. I think there's different soul groups. You know, some that are just go, go, go all the time, and some that don't. I think, you know, I think that we have a whole life outside of this life. Like, this life is such a drop in the hat to all of existence. This is like one breath of all the breaths you take in your whole life. This life is one breath. So, you know, just think about that, and how much relevance, how much, you know, how much energy are you going to put into the failings of Kelly? Oh, Kelly, oh, she shouldn't have done this, she shouldn't have done that. Oh, I can't believe she did this, she did that. Oh God, I just can't stand the girl. You know, I don't feel like that. Now, I look at Kelly as like, man, she's a warrior. Like, she just keeps on going. And then passing the baton, too, is this whole thing. I saw this was cool, this girl just said, because she said, you know, that there's a lot of us who have been going up these stairs towards this enlightenment thing. And I thought, like, that caught me right off the bat, because I had just said about, you know, the stairs, and there's somebody on every stair at this point. And so she said, you know, you've been going on these stairs. And she was saying, like, this stair was, you know, balance. This stair was, you know, divine feminine, whatever. She's going through these different levels of what you're going through to learn and stuff. And she said, now you're at the top. You are in the space of your higher self. You're there. You're already there. You don't need to do anything else. You're there. Now it is just the... it is like this alignment. It's like now for you to relax and start seeing, everything that is on this level that is there for you. And you have reached this point. And that's what I was saying, like, in the thing, is like, you reach this point of, like, where you are with your higher self, like, in the conversations, the communication. And like I said, sometimes it's like I'm having a board meeting inside of me. And sometimes I've got, like, I can hear audience reviews. Like, it's crazy. So, but I've heard other people talking about that now. Like, there's so much going on in there once you start realizing, and it is true. But, you know, but that is, there's too many things I've got. Because that is the thing too, when you connect to your higher self and start realizing, you know, it's not just about you going and what it is you're driving or whatever. It's about, what are you learning and what are you putting out into the world? You know, what are you doing with what's coming your direction and what are you putting out? That's what it's about, not what you're driving. What did you wear to the party? You know, those are the things that we get caught up on, because that is the 3D part. What was it? Oh, this was a cool one too, because this girl, this was a stitch. One black girl, one darker skinned girl was talking, and then another darker skinned girl stitched it and was talking, and they were talking about when they were kids, like Tinkerbell, Color, and who were some of the other ones? Ariel. Like, they were just talking about that kind of stuff. And the one girl, she was, I think both of them were saying, you know, it doesn't matter about that stuff, and saying their whole thing. But the one girl who I was hearing, she was saying that about Ariel. I think she was, because she was saying, if you guys keep being like just focused on that, the colors, you're missing the point of the story. Like in Ariel, she was willing to sell her legs, sacrifice her legs, or yeah, it was sacrifice her legs. No, sacrifice her voice. Sacrifice her voice to have legs so that she could go in and experience. That's what it was. It was something like that. And so that she could go to the top, so she could go break the surface. Like all those things, these metaphorical things, that's what is important, is to break through the surface, to see further than what you can see. And so many people are so scared of coming out, going, you know, breaking the surface. You just want to stay where it's safe, under the water, where it's warm, right up here. You know, sun's coming in on the water. We're all just right here talking about how nice the sun feels. But really, when you break free and you come out of the water and you look up and you see there's a whole world out there. There's a world in the sky. There's a world on this land. Like, there's other things going on. What's going on out there? I want to go out and see. That's the same thing as like what we're doing in our awakening, is to see, like, oh my gosh, there's a lot more going on than just, you know, getting up and getting dressed, brushing my teeth, and going to work every day. Like, there's a whole connection that is happening, and the spiritual connection is the one, is you know, that's the one, you know, well, that is the divide thing. That is the splitting. I've seen more videos. It's like that seems to be where everybody's starting to get like, okay, we're not going to split and have two different earths. We're not going to all of a sudden have Jesus come and take all these people up with him. What we're having is people making choices, and people are making, like I said yesterday, certain people are making certain choices, and they're going to start having all of the repercussions come from that are going to be super positive, that's going to really motivate other groups that are going to be witnessing. And then you have the one group who's just so dug in, you can't imagine, you know, science is a lie, bullshit. You just don't understand science. And it's so crazy. It's like, these people don't understand science. And they're sitting there telling somebody else that they don't understand science, even somebody who's like a degree in science, and you're going to tell me I don't understand science? I took a lot of science classes. And I know it is about you know, and a lot of it is one scientist working, you know, because they want their name, they want the fame. And so it is, it's not just conjecture, it's a hypothesis. They come up with a hypothesis. Well, I think this would happen and this would happen. The reason I think that is because this, and this. Hydrogen has three, but, you know, they'll go through their thing. And then they will do test after test to see, does this work? Does this work? What if I add this? Does this work? That's what they're doing on us. And so that is what science is all about. Does this work? Well, what if I do this? Well, how does it work if this? Well, then it is the beings, us, and we are all unique. So that is a disruptor to their thing. So they have to go more in. And so that's where they start targeting certain proteins and stuff, is so that they can go in and, you know, be hyper vigilant over what they're going for. And so but the thing is with all of us is being so distinct that is more of a difficulty for them to, I mean, like I think, like if they, okay, like I can see, it's hard to, because it's like, okay, because this is part of science, so isolate. So we know this protein has this effect by this. And as long as all of these other things are constant. See, that's the thing, is the constants. So when they can isolate, so they can, and this is hard to explain. So they can isolate and they can be like, okay, so we're going to focus on this one protein. So then we've got all of these beings that have this one protein, but there's not a constant in all of them because there's multiples. So, you know, not everybody's designed the same, so that they can still go, okay, well, let's target this protein with this, and let's see, you know, how it affects, like, with these ones, like, and then even after they go through that part, then it's like, okay, so we saw how that worked. So now if we take this and add it to this, let's see, because I think with what we're seeing here with this group, that they have this component. So if we use this, that should counter that, and then we will see where that goes. So then you go off into these subgroups, and we're so, I mean, there's so many subgroups, there's so many experiments going on. This has been our whole life that this has been going on. This is the stuff that's coming out is just to expose it, like with all these chemicals, the rail, all of this stuff, the corporation, all of it is gonna all go. It's the same information that's gonna keep coming out. That, you know, we didn't matter other than our data as to the experiment. They think they're doing something to help mankind because it helps their agenda. You know, they don't feel, they feel if they tell us something in movies that they don't have a karmic debt to us, like, but it is all based on intention. If you intend to trick somebody, if you intend to lie, then it's by intention, it's not by what you've done. So all of the people that they've hurt with their lies, that they're still, and it isn't like there's a God up there doing it. It is the fucking, it's the universe. It's your energy that you put out. There's nothing you can do with the reverberation is going to come back. So it is your energy that you're putting out will reverberate back on you. So if you're a hateful person and you're going out and doing hateful things and screwing people over all the time, that is the energy that is going to come back to you. That you are going to, you feel that energy. You're going to feel what that feels like. However it comes, that's what's going to go down. And so, you know, people that do something out of ignorance, and, you know, because they don't have a clear intention, they don't know. There's multiple things like that will be going on. I mean, we're going to see stuff about that in these court cases, following orders and stuff. Like, this is going to be a lot of you know, showing people, like building a moral compass, building up of, well, where do you listen? Who do you listen to? There's going to be a lot of conversations of really, you know, understanding the importance of going in and sitting with yourself, you know, recognizing the different voices going on that are trying to lead you, and have conversations and tell them, you know, you don't have to listen to every fucking snot-ass voice that comes into your head and says something. You got to start realizing that there's energy going around all the time. You're in a fucking tornado of energy that is around trying to communicate and talk to you. You have high, developed energy that is conscious of itself, that is further developed than we are, way further developed than what we are, and that they can observe us and witness and watch and see. They can grow from our growth, that we are, you know, expanding the universe with our own knowledge. Our own expansion expands all things for all beings, for all, you know, just even, you know, if you have, if you've been super depressed for years and you have all these attachments of all this energy and just having the hardest time breaking free from this depression and feeling down, and every time you try and do something, you just get tired, you know, all these attachments that are just holding you back, you know, and they'll sit there and tell you, yeah, you don't need to do that. Just relax, man. You deserve to rest, man. You know, sometimes they'll seem like they're your best friend, you know, and you got to look past that. Are you holding me back? Because my desire is to just, you know, take better care of myself. And you are holding me back and keep trying to tell me to just sit down and relax. You know, you got to recognize that. And for any energy, because that could be, you know, lovely energy that really thinks they're doing everything for you because they don't have a full picture. They're just a little aspect of energy. They don't have a full view. So they can think that they're doing something wonderful for you. And y'all are in great communication and they're a part of you and you're a part of them. But that's where you have to use your discernment, your recognition. You have to use your time to communicate and then realize who's talking to you in your head and what they're telling you and how it all fits together. And then another thing to realize, you can transmute that energy. So if you have all of this dark energy that's just hanging on you and you're just feeling tired and exhausted and beat down, you just want to just break free, then, you know, do the same things with the healing techniques, with the energy. You know, close your eyes, do it in a meditation, and you are the creator of the story, however you want the story to go. I mean, you can play Star Trek, you can do whatever, but go in and, you know, tell that energy that, you know, to transmute it into a positive, you know, take it and, you know, I don't know, that could be kind of more advanced for some people. Like, I don't even know the different levels that people are on. Like, you know, I mean, I have to acknowledge that my level is way farther ahead, but I have to also acknowledge it without, you know, being like I'm better than somebody, because that's not what it's about. It's not like because you're further ahead. It just means that my stuff happened before other people's stuff. Like, I got my brain injury in '09. People are just now having their stuff go down. So, you know, it's going to make me a few years ahead. So that doesn't mean that I'm better than somebody else. But it's hard to understand where everybody's coming from, you know, to be able to explain, to help somebody, because you don't know for sure how they, you know, what level do you even understand that you have communication all the time? Do you understand that there's beings talking to you all the time? Do you understand that you are eternal soul? Like, that is where you just get down to the basics. And then once you get to understand your eternal soul and that you are here to run a program, you're here to run a role, you're here to experience something, and that, you know, to get into that, it's not just about like, well, you know, I'm here, so I need to become successful. I need to be beautiful, so I need that girl's beautiful nose. I need that girl's beautiful eyebrows. Her mouth will do just fine. I need that figure, you know, like, all of those things don't matter. You could be a hideous, fat dwarf and still be loved and have everything you could ever want and not even have 1 cent. So this is what I've been talking about, this reprioritizing, and is getting people to question things and understand things. And like this come to Jesus moments are all over the place. Like I was a girl who I've been following. She's always, you know, a truth speaker, but she is a character. She's just quite a character, and she's just funny. And but the video she did the other day wasn't funny. It was traumatic and sad and hard. And I sat with her through her whole thing. She was asking people to come in and pray with her. It's going to make me so sad again. Because her little granddaughter is super, super sick. Like she's on all sorts of machines and stuff, and she just found out. And, you know, there's just so much of that. So much, you know, so much trauma is going to be going in people's lives. And she did understand. She said, you know, I understand. Yeah, she seemed to be clear, you know, in her understanding about life and death and, you know, but still, I mean, no matter what, nobody wants to lose anybody that they love. Like, even if you understand what it all means and what it's all about, none of us want to go through that, you know. That's a huge stressor to most of us, especially when we start waking up and realizing, like, we're on a different plane than the other people that we are family with, you know. We're in another plane of existence. We're talking about things that they don't even understand, that they don't even see, they can't even comprehend. And so, you know, the whole process has been very difficult and scary. But we are at this, you know, the part where everything is flipping the other direction. And what was it? Oh, I did look up the fault line for the Cascadian fault line or something. It looks like it goes right up the 5. Just like right what I was saying. What I kept seeing is, you know, people trying to evacuate and getting on the 5 and it being a disaster. And even it was the 5, I swear to God, is one, was it the San Francisco or was it LA where it had that bad earthquake and the freeway fell on top of the other one that was below it. I remember the 5 being involved in that. And so, anyways, it was like, oh my gosh, so if that earthquake, and so today's the 4th, so I didn't feel anything, and I keep going and checking, and I haven't seen where anybody's saying that there's been any tremors or anything starting, but I don't know. All I've seen is stuff about the snowstorms, and people don't have food, people have already been locked up in their houses for a week, and you know, there's people dying, and so many people, didn't plan for it. Well, they didn't plan for this. This isn't what we do here. We don't have snow like this. We're not prepared for this. That's what I was saying. Yeah, you're going to be shown what you are. This one lady goes, we're not made for this. We're not made for all this snow. Like, the universe is going to show you what you're made of. That's what's going on here. It's showing you what you're made of. You decided, because you're Californian, you're not made of that. Like, well, I guess the universe is going to show you something different. Your higher self has got other plans for you. And you got to remember, it's not some God up in the sky who hates you and is punishing you. They're showing you what you're made of. They're showing you what your worth is. They're showing you you're way more than what you think you are. But as long as you want to hold yourself back and sit there and just be like, well, this is all I am, and everything's falling apart, that's all there is of me, then that's your lesson. So, you know, everybody figures their own lessons. You decide. It is your free will. Where are you going to take it? How far can you go? How far can you grow? How far do you want to go up the stairs? You know, do you want to find your higher self? Do you want to find your best version? And are you willing to do the work to get there? Are you willing to, you know, sacrifice some things, you know? Put some things, like, all of a sudden there's a lot of things that just don't matter when you're doing your healing. You just realize, like, man, I used to value that, and it just doesn't matter. You know, it's the same thing as, like, what you think of as success. It's going to change, you know? Thinking of, like, big boobs look good, and then, you know, all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, this is embarrassing. You know, it's a change in perspective. It's a change in your view of self. It's a change in your view of what's important and what's not important. And so that is this transition. That is the things that are changing. That is the movement that we're in. And so, you know, like I've said, if you want to be manifesting is putting yourself in the direction you want to go. And you want, certain things, start seeing it. And then when the things come, however they come, don't be like, well, that's not the right thing. That's not what I ordered. No, if you're going to have an attitude like that, well, of course, I'm not going to get exactly what I want. Like, if that would have been my attitude when I got this place, if I wouldn't have been like, oh my God, thank you guys. Like, I see everything. Like, I was sitting there telling you I wanted this. And like, oh my God. And how much work they gave me to do here. And all that work that showed me who I was. Like, the gifts are out there. The gifts are all around you. It's you who hold yourself back. So you got to learn to be not your worst enemy, but your advocate, your admirer, the lover of self, and then that is when you'll change things. And your manifesting won't be like, oh, well, I'm going to manifest, $2 million, so then I have value. No, you're going to manifest people that come into your life to show you how valuable you are. And if you don't recognize that, then that's your loss. You're missing out on, that's the 3D design that holds you trapped. And that's the divide that we're going through. We're going to see the people who just keep holding on to that. Like, I'm going to manifest success. I'm going to manifest, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Science. You literally have people out here who think this 15-minute city, like, that's the best thing for the planet. Like, the rest of you fools. Like, what do you think? You need trees and parks and shit? You think you need to have freedom? You think you need to go out and just walk around on the earth? No. You just need a 15-minute city. Like, we all have what we want out of life is very different. What you want out of life is very different than me. And so if that's what you want, then you get to go in and you get to see how does that work? Maybe we're going to end up getting to a point where we have a bunch of 15-minute cities with a bunch of controlled fucking people who just, sit around on computers all day. And then we're going to have people who are out living in the woods and in the mountains and, in communities together, building communities. Oh, and I did see this yesterday, and I've been saying this, and this said March 3rd, and it was Trump. And he said, we're about to put a whole bunch of money into several communities. I think he said 9. This is opposite of the 15-minute city kind of thing. He said, we're going to go out. We're going to, submit your stuff. We're going to go out and build up these 9 communities. Just like how I had said, I'd seen all those guys out there doing all of this stuff, building these things and trying to pull people out. So people who are organized like that, people who are coming together and organized, there's going to be huge amounts of money. And I think there's going to be some direction of like, well, we're going to give this money. We've got some places that we want built up. They may not say that we're in a reset and the landscape's about to change and we need everybody to move to these areas. They may do it in another way just to get people in safe zones without people panicking, because people just panic over every fucking thing. People are scared of every fucking thing. So anyways, he said that they've got a shit ton of money that's about to be dumped into these communities that they're trying to build, that we're going to get to this place that we are the industry for self, like the industry. We're going to be everything that we're going to be making, we will be able to sell it to other places if we want, but we're going to be self-contained, and these first cities that are going to go into it, and not cities. I'm not saying like Chicago can go, hey, we want the money, bring it to us, we want to no, it's not what we're talking about. Those things are all going down, and the survivors will all be the ones moving out, and there's going to be all different types. So but to me, how I heard him, what he was saying is that it's going to be the development of a whole new communities, whole new towns, and there's going to be as much money as what these towns want to use to develop. And so that's why I said there's going to be all sorts of incentives. There's going to be property given. There's going to be, I bet you there's going to be house kits given. Like, I don't know all of the different things, but there's going to be a lot that's going to go into building up these new communities and getting people in the communities that people like me want to go to, the natural people, the people who are into this age of Aquarius, don't need to hold on to this science theory thing that that is going to be all built on communities that are not being run by somebody else. No, it's going to be contained. The people who are in the communities are going to play a part in the communities. You're going to play a role. You're not going to just go, sit in your house and wait for everybody else to go do stuff for you and hand it to you on a platter. No, you're going to be involved somehow. And people don't realize how fulfilling that's going to feel, to start really building community together and coming together as a group and start being there for one another. It's going to be such a beautiful experience that so many people have never experienced before. I've experienced it because I came from a time where there was still that existed, but so many people have never experienced, real connection, real community. And so it's going to be a fucking beautiful thing when this starts happening. That is going to spread more and more. And the more those communities build up, because there'll be a lot of people who are just desperately needing to go. A lot of people who are homeless right now. A lot of people who start going towards these areas of rebuild and restructure. Then once that starts going, so if these other people, in the Great Divide, they've got their 15-minute cities going somewhere, like, I don't know. Like, to me, I don't know, over the next couple of years, I would assume we're going to see where this stuff is going to go down, because there's going to be some part where the other part's going to look real good to the people. They're going to start shifting, going the other direction. They're just not already at the same time. They still think the other way is the right way. And so, but the people who are about nature and moving towards community and stuff, see, there won't be the same need for money and stuff. You won't need to go out. Like, if you're a part of a community growing garden, you just go get your food. You don't go to the store and pay for it. You don't need a job to go pay for your food. You just go down to the garden, get your food you need, and go home and cook it. You have all of our essentials are going to be free. It's going to be free water, free power. Our resources are not going to be like it is now, where it is, they're charging us for existing and telling us we take up too much space. And so all of those different things are going to be free. So then, then it's your choice. What do you need money for? Do you need money? Do you, and money is going to be very different in how we go about getting it. It's going to go back to real resources. So, geez, you may be able to just go out and fucking dig for crystals and sell them. You may be able to go out and dig for gold and use that. It could be stones, like, it could be anything. It could be somebody in your community and they make things out of some certain thing. And so, you go out and collect something they need and give it to them, and then they give you something back you need. It's all this switching and stuff. Like, we don't need to go in and, get on their money system like that. There's going to be that quantum financial system, the silver, the accounts you have for reparations and stuff. But see, that's not going to be the same kind of thing. It's just a bank account, like what we just sit there and spend. It's not going to be the same, because there's not going to be so much bullshit to spend it on, for one thing. There's going to be such a collapse in the, we got Walmart's closing now in Oregon. I'm saying because crime's so bad in Oregon that they can't even stay open. So, all these corporations, there's so many things with Walmart, the collapse of that place. But all of these corporations are going to be collapsing. So there's not going to be the same thing of just, you know, spend, like what we've been doing in this consumer world. So it's going to be, you know, like you would have money for big things. And I don't know, there's going to be some sort of money that's going to go back to everybody based on your birth certificate or something. So I don't know if it's going to be based on amount of years that you've endured this shit or what. Like, I don't know. But, and it could be, you know, it could be for different things you've gone through. Like some kid who's been injured is going to get, you know, money for that. But there's also going to be the med bed experience that's going to fix a lot of the medical things. So it isn't going to be, you know, there'd be no reason to give me a bunch of money because the hospital broke my brain when I could just go in and go to the machine and it's going to just reset my cells and take them back to a healthy position. So, you know, all I know is that there's going to be nothing for you to worry about anymore. Like, there's not going to be anything to worry about, like how you're going to get the bills paid, how you're going to do this, how you're going to do that. It's going to really free your life up to make decisions for yourself. Do you want to spend your time creating? Do you want to spend your time traveling? Do you want to spend your time socializing? Do you want to spend your time being productive? You know, it's going to be up to you. It's not going to be up to somebody who's going to be in charge of your hours anymore. It's going to be up to you. And it's going to be, you know, a big change for people who are very driven. And, you know, there's just a lot. There's just a lot, you know, the whole thing with manifesting, the whole thing with time, just a lot of stuff, you know, it just keeps going. But I've been talking for a long time. Hopefully I said something that is helpful to somebody. But just remember, you know, to all of you who have been doing the work through this, that things are about to switch. Really, I saw another thing too, more stuff. Like everything on the astrology stuff. Like I know a lot of you guys watch that stuff too. And everything is saying this month, the 7th is supposed to be something in the stars, like Pluto shows the dark and Jupiter moves. And I don't know all the ways they explain it. But that day is what they're saying is going to be the day where everything flips right side up. So I don't know. You know, I don't know. It could be, you know, that I thought it was going to be an abrupt thing all along where it was going to be like boom. And what did I see? I saw another thing that said something about it's going to seem like the sun goes out and then comes on or something. I don't know. I don't know. We'll just see what happens. Like, but I do definitely feel like it's getting close. I definitely feel so many things changing, and that healing thing, I can't even tell you. Like the last night, even when I went to bed again, it was like aching, and so I went in and did it. I just kept envisioning, you know, just vision my body as, you know, muscles and tissue and stuff like that, just without the skin. But I know it's me. And then just like this laser focus goes, and then I go right in, and then I'm inside my body. And then I call more people to come in and help. There's all sorts of energies out there that, you know, promote healing and stuff. So I call them all in. You know, they all have their own little ways of doing things. Some of them were kind of funny. I won't even say some of them. Some of them were kind of funny though. And, but I could feel things going away. It was like, oh my God, this is trippy. Like, you know, say a spirit comes in and starts sweeping. They're sweeping. And you can feel it sweeping away. It's totally trippy. So, that, when it was doing that and all of the things were going away, and then I went back to sleep, and then I woke up this morning and it's not even hurting. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna keep doing it on all my things. Just keep doing it on my eyes. I've been doing all these things. I've been trying different ones that I've seen that people talk about with the healing, with all the different things inside of my body. And I know that we're fighting against like the low frequency. I know the frequency is going to make it so much easier to heal things and stuff like that. But still, you know, just the practice. And it is working. So I'm going to do some more with my eyes and stuff like that. But, You know, just be ready. Some, you know, big stuff's about to come, and I hope everything is going to just be so beautiful and so many blessings for all of you guys. And just remember, you know, don't get caught up in ego and think you're better than anybody. Keep remembering that everybody's on a different step. Everybody's, you know, we're all on the same stairwell. We're just all on different steps. And if you're on a step that is higher than somebody else, you know, walk it with pride, but also walk it humbly. Don't, you know, walk with your head high, but don't get into thinking you're better than anybody else. That's the biggest paradigm we got to split away from here. This dog eat dog, I'm better than you, one-upper kind of world. And, you know, and this satisfaction, being satisfied with you, you know, and if there's anything you're not satisfied, you have every opportunity, every chance to change things that you don't like into things that you do like. So know your own power and remember you're eternal and just keep doing the work. And I'll talk to you later.